Hey Collider Games, my name is Joy Rasul. My favorite kinds of games are ones where you can meet the Pope, and this is my review of The Council.
Your words seem sincere.
The Council is developed by Big Bad Wolf and published by Focus Home Interactive. It's a narrative choose-your-own-adventure game set in the late 1700s. You're invited to a Lovecraftian island by a crazy eccentric billionaire in search of your mother who has gone missing. Your mother's not the only person you'll run into on the island, though. You will run into historical figures like George Washington and a young Napoleon Bonaparte. This game takes historical fiction to the umpteenth degree. The influencers on the island are the biggest in the world, including your own organization called the Golden Order. You play as the most Americanized Frenchman ever, Louis de Richet.
Louis Moras de Richet.
You say you're French? Oui.
And your mother, also French, go figure, is one of the top leaders of the Golden Order. She has gone to the island without telling you why and has suddenly gone missing. Your job is to find her, find what she was looking for on this island, and also not make a fuss with all the bigwigs that are there. The island is owned by a Lord Mortimer, and he holds these conferences regularly in order to reshape the world. When it comes to puzzle-solving games, this gave me elementary school flashbacks to Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. If you're not paying attention, reading things, and checking under every nook and cranny, then it does help to know things like your Bible and Renaissance art. I feel like the consequences of your choices matter here more so than most other episodic choose-your-own-adventure games. The skill system you have here is really interesting. Your choices influence the skills that you gain and the skills that you can use in further choices later down the line. You can't just simply make the choices that you're proficient in either, because some choices require effort.
Maximum effort.
Effort is spent when something has a higher difficulty. If someone is harder to convince, it's going to take more effort to do that, unless you're really good at convincing people. One of the other things that adds to the replayability of this game is it tells you when you've missed opportunities based on skills that you don't have. I'm sure by now you've thought that I'm avoiding a glaringly obvious problem with this game, and that's the character modeling. Oh my god, is this some of the weirdest character modeling I have seen in a long time? This George Washington looks like he was actually carved from wood.
Young man, let's keep it simple, please.
This is honestly one of the hardest hurdles to cross for this game, and I think you really need to be a lover of the genre to get past it. It's not the only thing that reveals that this is not a AAA game, however. I felt distinct differences with the problems with each episode. Episode 1 felt like it was inundated with pop-ups, but that's mainly because you're learning new skills. Episode 2 felt like it wasn't adapting to my choices, and characters would pop up only when I decided to interact with something. Episode 3 is the most recently released one, and that's where some of the biggest things went off the rails for me. I can't say for sure because episode 4 and 5 are yet to come, but episode 3 might have broken the story for me a little bit. With AAA games, when something weird happens in the story, we give it the benefit of the doubt. But with indie games like this, we assume that they've done something wrong, and maybe that's a bad thing. The Council deserves a fair chance because it has commitment to detail in so many other places. The accuracy of theology, the subtle differences in Greek and Roman mythology pertaining to the same myth, and little things about the world in the late 1700s that would affect the world that we know today.
What is this I hear about you reinforcing military power in Louisiana?
There's mystery, there's intrigue, and rather than watching a CW drama, you could play this game and actually learn something about history. Just, pick and choose what you're actually gonna learn, because not all of it's true, you guys.
So that's the exegesis of Judas.
This game does pitch itself as an occult adventure, and the hammer doesn't really drop on that until the end of episode 3. In fact, the burn is so slow that it really does make you question some of your decisions at the end of episode 3, which is probably a good move based on what's going to happen in 4 and 5. This game is certainly ambitious, and while it does have some cracks and inconsistencies, I still had plenty of fun playing it. One of the things that I am worried about with it, though, is the episodic nature. A lot of the puzzles required you to memorize what you had done previously, and if you're starting and stopping playing this game, it's going to be a lot harder to solve some of these puzzles. The conversations and character interactions are unique to say the least, but they're not without predictability. This means you're able to have conversations tactfully and tactically. Normally little cracks and inconsistencies don't bother me in an indie game. When it comes to a puzzle-solving game, however, the clues have to be consistent in the subtitles and the voiceover. That is a big oversight.
The code to get out of the secret office is 6646.
Little things like a cross-eyed protagonist, I don't mind so much.
You'll see.
Okay, I kinda mind that. All in all, I give this game a 7 out of 10. The plot pushes forward in a very intriguing way, but I think the scope of the game is overly ambitious and they haven't been able to deliver on the fidelity. We'll see if all that goes out the window with episodes 4 and 5, which are coming out later this year.
Time will tell.
I recommend buying this game once episode 5 comes out and you can play the whole thing as one straight shot. That's all for me. I'm off to get fitted for a powdered wig. Be sure to check out more reviews from Collider Games. Hello, I am Louis Durichet, Monsieur Jacques Peru. So nice to meet you. See, a French accent isn't that hard.